Hi guys, Nadine with Hope Ventures. On this beautiful, cozy fall day that we're getting to spend inside, it's a little chillier out today and a little rainy and stormy a bit here and there. And then sunny, it's, Tennessee. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that the Lord has been drawing my focus to, my attention to, and growing inside of me. I love when He first starts drawing our attention to a new concept, and then He will again and again and again and again just focus our attention on it and give us the opportunity to apply it to everyday life. And so He's been doing that with this particular concept. Luke writes about Jesus sitting with sinners and tax collectors and all kinds of people that in those days he probably, to others' opinion, shouldn't have been sitting with. And they were there to hear Him. They were there to hear Him. As they're sitting there gathered over come these, good people, highly respected in society, the ones that had done it right all of their life, the ones in high standing, the ones whose company you would have wanted to keep in those days. They walk over and they see Jesus, and they see all these people gather on Him to hear Him, and they begin muttering, though I don't think they said it very quietly, I can't believe He's sitting with sinners. I cannot believe He's sitting with tax collectors. Oh my goodness. He's sitting with sinners. Those people who had come there to hear Him. They'd come there for some hope. And yet again, it gets rubbed in their face that they are below standard, not worth keeping company with, not worth spending time with. That their sinfulness was infectious. You couldn't even hang out with them. They were below social acceptance. And so Jesus decides to tell a story. And up until that point, a couple of months ago, I had always thought, well, the story He's fixing to tell, He's telling for the benefit of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. He tells the story of the lost sheep, and it's in Luke 15. He says this. He says, suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Does he not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep. I tell you that in that same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. Okay, I always thought, zing, but that's not what He did there. Those Pharisees and teachers of the law, they hadn't walked over there to hear Him. So what He said, they hadn't come over there to hear Him. That's not what they were there to unload their feelings of disgust about the situation. They weren't there to be taught. You know who had come there to hear Him? Those sinners. They had come there to hear Him. And so He gave them something to hear. What He was telling them, and back in those days, that would have packed a lot more of a punch than it does now. Because, I don't know about you. I don't know many sheep owners anymore who have 100 sheep. And their livelihood depends on having their 100 sheep. All right, that may not make as much sense to us. But to those people who were sitting there, who had come there to hear Him, who were in this moment feeling, after hearing all of those words from those Pharisees about how, just how unacceptable it was that He was even keeping company with them, let alone talking to them, teaching them. I can't help but think, you don't think they knew that? You don't think they knew that they were sinners? And in that moment, I can't help but wonder what thoughts went through their minds. They knew they were sinners. Did they in that moment feel a little overwhelmed with shame and an awareness? Yeah, I am not worthy. I'm not worthy to sit here. I am not worthy to sit at the feet of the one I came to hear. I'm not worthy. I am not worthy to even talk to him. I have screwed up so royally, he shouldn't even be seen with me. And so when he makes his point, he doesn't just say, listen, I would go find you, and when I find you, I would carry you home on my shoulders, and I would call my friends, and I would party for you. I would throw a party. That in itself to me would already that already is a lot. He doesn't just go through that extent. Listen, he goes to the extent of saying, if there's one lost sheep out of 100, I would leave 99 sheep behind. And listen, not in a safe stable. That he very purposely makes the point here of saying, I would leave them behind. It says, in the open country. That's not logical. That's not logical. If your livelihood depends on having your 100 sheep, okay, and one gets lost, you're going to leave 99 in the open field, unprotected, to go find one, which had walked away and got lost because it didn't follow. That's not logical. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's to them though, that would have packed a punch. That would have driven home the point. Did they get it? Did they get the parable? Did they get his point? That he would go to illogical lengths to find you. And that it to him would be such a joyful occasion that he would call his friends and party it up. And that in his eyes, one person who recognizes their need to repent, in his eyes, that one person is worth every ounce of effort to be found. No matter through how much mud he would have had to climb to find that sheep, to what danger he put himself to go out there alone in the middle of the night, it doesn't matter. It's worth it to him. If you struggle with worth, with your self-worth, I want to encourage you today. For you, he would leave it all behind to come and find you, to pick you up, to put you on his shoulders, to carry you home, and then to talk about it. And not to say, she wandered off again. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to go find her. Not the sharpest one, that one. But I found her, if you guys want to come over, we could celebrate. No. When he finds you and he carries you home, his focus isn't on what it is that got you lost. His focus is not on what behaviors put you in a place that make you feel like you're not worth to come to the feet of the Father. His focus is on you when you say, I need you. I'm lost. I'm sorry. Will you come find me and pick me up and carry me home? It blows me away again and again to what lengths he will go to show his love and to show his joy over loving us. He said, rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who will repent. Rejoicing. Over you, he rejoices. Even if you feel like you're not worth it, you might feel like you shouldn't even come to him with that. If you feel like there are areas of your life where you've screwed up so badly, there's no way you could take them to him. Where you have felt the comments of those around you who look like they have it all together and who look like, well, they're worth his time. To him, you are worth going to crazy distances for. You are worth picking up and carrying on his shoulders. In his eyes, you have worth that is beyond reason. Going after one and leaving 99, that was beyond reason. I love that. I love that he loves with such fierce joy. He won't stop at anything. So if you're struggling with self-worth or shame, let me encourage you today. For you, he would go to crazy lengths. For you, he rejoices. For you, he would throw a party. For you, he does. So be encouraged today that just like those sitting at his feet who had come to hear him, he has things to say to you. And even if there are others who might gather on the sidelines and discourage you and bring up old stuff, and listen, if they didn't come there to hear him, let them talk. You, eyes on Jesus. Focus in on the one you'd come to hear in the first place. Let his truth saturate your heart. Now, be blessed. Have a gorgeous fall. And let hope venture on.